Hey everybody, it's Don Edwards from Green Line Tactical, and I got some friends here, sort of friends, and we want to talk a little bit about setting up your guns for night vision shooting, night vision training, and stuff like that. So we've got a rifle and a pistol here in front of us, and one of the things that was brought up earlier is it's kind of funny how all four of our rifles and stuff look very, very similar in the way they're set up, and that's not really. I mean, it's not a coincidence.
It's not by accident.
We've all kind of figured out what works, and
we've made all of the mistakes and wasted all of the money, so that you don't have to.
Yeah. So
unless you're left-handed.
Yeah. If you're a disabled American, we can't help you.
Let's start talking about this AR that's sitting right in front of me and blocking my view. It's got an aim point on it. We're all aim point shooting dudes.
We're filming videos right now. We'll call you back.
Should have just let it ring. But all right, cool. So Dalton will get a phone call in a little bit. Yeah, one of the things that we've all pretty much started adopting several years ago are the taller mounts. They're not just for night vision, but they really do lend themselves for passive shooting while we're in night vision. And that's one of the things that we do. But they're great for daytime, ready up. Any kind of dynamic run and gun type
gas
shooting.
Masks.
Gas masks too. But anything you do,
the real world heads up type shooting.
Heads up, gun up, eyes up, bring the gun to your eyes kind of shooting. That's really where they shine most of the time.
And that's the fast mount. That's the 2.26 height.
Yeah, that's the Unity Tactical Fast Mount. There are other options out there now as well. You'll see this rifle has a Maul laser on it, and it also has a white light. We call our flagship course Night Fighter, not NVG, because it's about the full spectrum of shooting and fighting after dark, which includes the white light as well. I know John's classes, he addresses the same things we do when it comes to having a white light. What are your opinions on, like, should it be a bright light? Should it be? I mean, I like all the lumens and all the photons and all the.
So the white light that you choose, right, for a rifle. Think about it. Rifle going to give you rifle distances. If you put a pistol on a rifle, you're not getting all the rifle juice out of it, even in the dark. So whether it comes to my laser or my white light, like, I want everything I can get out of it. Yes. Most of the time, that's going to give you you can always back it down. You can't always get more out of something with less. So a white light, I'm looking for something that has a lot of candela. It can push light out to distance. The beam hopefully is tight enough that I can push it out to distance. Most of the modern lights nowadays from Cloud, Mod Light, and also Surefire turbos are going to give you that, right? They're going to push them out. What you want to watch out for with your lasers, boys, is when setting up your laser, you want, if you notice, like on this rifle, it's pushed out as far as Sam needs it to be for his arm. As a right-handed shooter, he's manipulating with his left arm. So as righties, you want to set it up so it's useful to you. As lefties, you may have to flip that bad boy around or use a different type of laser.
That's one of the cool things about the Maul.
Exactly. One of the unique things about the Maul is that it's lefty and righty friendly.
It's ADA compliant.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing to think about with your laser setups when you're setting up stuff, some guys like to bring their lasers back towards the optic. It's not wrong per se. It's just what you're going to find is that you can't manipulate the lasers easily. You have to use a pressure pad, so you have to set it up with a longer pressure pad for that. And then changing settings on the fly is very difficult. So you have to do the settings, bring your hand back forward to activate the laser, and you have to do things like that. Now,
the second you're confronted with a problem that you can't solve with the mode that the laser's in, is this probably about the second you're like, man, I really wish this laser was not positioned right here. I understand why the four of us set our guns up in a particular way. Anyway, but I mean, you do you, but.
Well, here's another thing about the laser and the placement. Sometimes we see guys push it a little farther out. Mm-hmm. If I know sometimes this rifle has a suppressor on it, sometimes it doesn't, but he doesn't have it so far forward that it's going to be blasting the front of his laser. Yeah. You could move it further out, and some guys are like, well, it's supposed to be able to take it. Yeah, but should it have to? Should you? I mean, yeah, but it's kind of abusive in my opinion. unless you have to.
Also, the carbon buildup you'll get throughout a night of shooting, similar to like your handgun light that's always sticking out further than your muzzle. It could take the blast, but it also gets a ton of carbon on the lens and then causes a lot of issues with illuminating
it's harder
things.
to clean off your laser lens.
Right.
The other thing is just protruding out there, and it can get banged and knocked off of stuff. And I'm not saying these things are fragile per se. However, like if you don't have to fucking jam that thing into the door frame or handrail on a set of stairs, like that is just another reason why I got a little bit of standoff from the muzzle.
Yeah. Now, if you do have a suppressor on here, you do have a little bit more wiggle room. But if you ever end up shooting it without it, it's not going to be very nice on that. Another thing you'll notice that the switch for his light is on top. So even if he's shooting left-handed or offhand, he can access those buttons easy. If they were over on the side, you have a hard time getting to it, and it takes him a little bit of a deliberate movement to go to transition from one to the other. But it's not that much of a shift in grip, but it's not accidental. Right? So he can have his thumb over the top or on the top of the rail, and there's still space where he's not actually riding over any of these buttons. But so it didn't come on by accident. He had to actually move his thumb to a place where he knows where the laser is or where the light is. I'm a big fan of being able to use momentary or constant on, and having the dual button setups like that. I know some of them you can momentary them, or
by pressing it nicely.
Way. But I am a fan of the ability to constant on both the laser and the light, just in case I'm doing something, say in a shoot house environment where I do need to take my hand off the gun, but I also need to leave the light on.
Yep. Now, one of the things I'll also add in, because I like doing this with my lights and my lasers, is I like to connect them with a sync button from like Unity Tactical makes a sync that has 2 leads.
That's either the tap sync or the axon switch.
Yep, and I like using the small SL and putting it in front of my MAL laser buttons, and now I can just push my finger forward, another deliberate movement, right, to turn on my white light, and it'll also turn on my laser at the same time, giving me both modes.
And that works with the Surefires and the mod lights.
Yep.
Cloud's switches are proprietary.
You could do it with the Cloud with a different tail cap or their other legacy body.
Yeah. And you can do it with a hot button too, if your thumb is large enough. I can activate my laser and my light on a hot button, which is not a sync button like Duffy uses, but if
same concept.
But the axon is what's on some of my our guns with that.
Now let's talk about one more thing. 3x magnifiers. I like 3x magnifiers for daytime stuff. Sure, they give you a little bit of better PID at distance and stuff like that. But I think Duffy will back me up when I say we really like 3x magnifiers for night stuff. Duffy, why do we like 3x magnifiers for night vision shooting?
So think about the PID distances that you have in a night vision environment, right? It's going to be very much based off the illumination that you have, either the supplemental illumination you put out or the illumination around the environment.
And the tube performance.
Yeah, exactly, and whatever you've got on your face. The magnifiers, though, you can flip those bad boys up, and a lot of people don't realize that they can use them in a night vision environment because they've never messed around with the diopter. The diopter, right, the focus on the back end, which is essentially the prescription to your eye. Remember, when you're unaided without night vision, you put it to whatever your eye prescription is. When you put your night vision down, you're actually using a night vision or a diopter on your night vision to set your prescription. The diopter on there just needs to be set to what your night vision is, and you can mark it so you know your night vision setting for it. And now you can PID out to distance in night vision or in a night vision environment with less light and for further distance than you could, just with your night vision device.
A lot of tips and tricks on that.
It's almost a poor man's clip-on device.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, because you're looking through multiple panes of glass with the optic and the magnifier plus your optics on your nods, it is going to decrease the light level. But if you've got a good illuminator, say with a MAL, a Kiji, a Radex,
the Moon,
whatever, some good, higher performance illuminator on a laser, yes, it's not going to be passive because you're putting energy out, but with the magnification of that plus the laser, you can actually PID targets and see stuff quite a bit for like
a lot farther than you can
Yeah.
well.
otherwise.
A couple years ago, Sam and I were on the range with another one of our the Green Line instructors, Eric Vargas, and we were on his long range at night and shooting out to 5 something with our red dots and magnifiers through night vision, and just using our lasers as illuminators. It was really cool, a lot of fun.
And the cool thing about this particular magnifier and mount, if you don't need it, you can QD take it off the gun and stow it in a pouch and decrease the weight on the gun pretty significantly, pretty quickly too. So it just QD's on there and boom, Bob's your uncle.
All right, cool. Hey, let's talk about the pistol setup and why.
Yeah, so with handguns, guys, under night vision, some guys still live and die by, mostly die, by night vision, or sorry, by night sights. What you'll find in a night vision environment, a red dot is going to be your friend.
It's king.
It
night
is
vision compatible red dot.
I mean, most of them are. And what's really cool about them is that when you're looking through your optic, your red dot optic on a handgun, the housing to that optic almost disappears or blurs out and becomes like an unnecessary thing under a night vision because you're so focused further with your night vision.
Focused out there.
When using one of these under night vision, it's not only like child's play as in shooting, but most people find their red dots and end up being better pistol shooters under night vision because they are stuck to 40 degrees of field of view. You're putting the red dot right in front of your eye just like you do during the day, and you have less like distractions. And
you are target focused because
you're forced to be target focused.
Are focused on the target.
You're down to one singular plane of focus also.
Now the other thing you'll find is like with your handguns, you may want to have some kind of light source on that handgun. It's not necessary per se in a class because everybody's going to have lights and they're going to be going off, but it is nice to have for yourself. Even better would be some kind of dual purpose light where it has IR and it has white light. Those lights, which are really handy, usually like Sam and I know, keep them on our helmets as helmet lights, and then if we wanted to, we could throw them onto our handguns and use them as helmet or handgun lights. And you could switch the spectrum that it's putting out in, and now you have a fully night vision handgun available to you, or you rotate it, now you have a daytime gun again. So it's really cool to have it. Your pistol eventually turns into a sniper pistol in the dark, and you just got to have the skill.
Yeah.
We shoot these things out to 200 yards.
We shoot these a lot at night, and actually shooting pistols with nods is
more fun than rifles.
Probably more fun.
Yeah, it's a good time.
But here's another thing that I don't want to call it a rookie mistake, but it's something that a lot of us, it didn't occur to us until we started putting these optics on and shooting, is tritium night sights.
Yeah.
To the uninitiated, if you're setting up a pistol to be like a night fighter pistol, it seems like, well, I got to have tritium. This has the rear sight in front, some of them have in the rear, but guys will think, oh yeah, I'm putting this on there, but because it's a night pistol, I'm going to have tritium backup iron sights. And that turns out to not work out the way, it doesn't work out the way you think it's going to work out. I'm not saying it's the end of the world, but it is kind of distracting.
It's very distracting.
You drive that gun out there, up and into your line of sight, and you see like 3 or 4 different dots.
Donuts of death.
It's pretty obvious which one's the optic.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be brighter and crisper and everything else, but it's distracting. It's distracting as hell. So if you're setting it up for the first time and you don't know what you're doing and you want to, focus a lot on night vision type shooting, I'd say don't go for the tritium sights if you're going to put an optic on it. You still want sights. I'm still a big iron sights guy because why not? But the other tritium's not as big a deal as you think it is.
If you're watching this video and you're like, oh shit, that's exactly what I did, it's not the end of the world. You don't have to go out and buy new sights. Just take some black paint and paint over those night sights, right? Mm-hmm. They still will function just fine. Matter of fact, as far as iron sights go, we're all going to recommend blacked out sights anyways, or maybe a fiber front. But blacked out irons are, in my opinion, the way to go if you have the gun set up such as this one is. So you don't need to go buy new sights. Just go buy some black, spray paint.
To convince
fingernail polish.
Here's another thing that you don't need on this. You don't need a laser. So some guys think, oh, I got to have a laser on it because it's for nighttime. It's like, I mean, if you have one, that's cool. I'm not going to tell you,
Hopefully you found a good
get
holster.
rid of it. Yeah, but yeah, that's one of the problems is
Holster compatibility.
finding holsters for some of the lights that have it, or some of the add-on lasers and stuff like that. Before this became a thing, a laser was probably one of your better options. But now that we have optics for our pistols, that's the way to go. Pistol-mounted optics are the way.
The main reason that we're kind of like poo-pooing on lasers for handguns is because they don't hold zero as well as you want them to.
And you probably can't find a decent holster for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So two big factors that I don't want, right? A sighting system that won't hold zero and no way to actually holster this gun, not worth it to me.
Yeah.
So I think
Which if you've got a 320, you might not want to put it back in a holster.
So I think there's a couple things we left out. One is a high quality Kydex holster for your pistol, something with some type of form of retention in it. Safari Land is a pretty reputable brand. I think we all run Safari Land holsters. And then some type of high quality sling,
and a sling.
like a 2-point sling. There's lots of different variations out there.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're all fans of primarily a 2-point adjustable sling of some sort.
Yeah.
So I would find a 2-point sling that you really like and go with that.
Quick, Duffy, favorite 2-point adjustable sling, go.
Frank Proctor.
John,
Um,
TCAS?
and I'm trying to figure. I think I'm wearing.
All right, anyway.
Okay.
Colors.
Doesn't have a favorite.
Doesn't matter. We don't
Base
have
Camp Kilo or VTAC.
Yeah, I was going to say Base Camp Kilo or this is a VTAC.
I mean, the VTAC's the OG.
Honorable mention goes to the Blue Force Gear, the Vickers
Absolutely.
Combat Application.
There's a lot of great slings out there. If you got a buddy that makes
Yeah.
them,
Flat line
bring it to
fiber.
class and show it to us. Maybe I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
What kind of paint you guys use for the indexing when we talk about that?
That's just a
know the
red
paint-
paint
that's
pen.
just-
Oh,
with
so
X marks.
yeah, you'll see all over these. A lot of our guns will have witness marks on the screws, and that's nothing more than like a red or white. You can use whatever color you got.
Yeah, any color.
Paint pen, and just make a mark
You use a silver
like
Sharpie.
that. Whatever. And that's just mainly so that if that screw moves, you can tell by looking at it. Now, whenever you take it off and remount or whatever, you need to clean that stuff off and redo it fresh. Or it'll look like, a whole bunch of tick marks, and you won't know which one's which. But yeah, that's if you're wondering what some of these little paint marks are. That's what that is. It's called a witness mark. You guys that are machinists and stuff like that know exactly what we're talking about.
Now, those witness marks would be useless to you if you don't actually inspect your
Torque with
equipment.
spec.
Yeah, torque it to spec. Get it where it needs to be. Everything. If it has a torque spec to it, use it.
Yeah.
Read the manual that came with whatever mount or what have you, and if it has a torque spec or a recommended torque spec, get your handy dandy little fat wrench out and
Yeah.
torque it to spec.
And if the recommendation from the manufacturer is using Loctite, whatever type of Loctite,
Use it.
don't skimp on that.
Yeah, stuff falls off in night fighter classes that
Yeah.
like
And if you don't see it fall off and I find it on the range, I'm going to keep it.
Dibs.
Gear drift is a gift.
But yeah, guys, setting up your equipment is pretty easy. You just gotta pay attention to what you're setting it up for, and if it's for a night fighter class, it's for night vision use in general. Like, think about it. Like, you need it to be set up for specifically that. This is not going to be the same setup you'll use if you're shooting a 2-gun match.
No, you don't want all this extra stuff.
Yeah, this isn't an
You could,
SPR.
I guess.
You know,
If it's a night vision, you can do it on
I mean, I guess you could, but
I'd
yeah,
still
guys.
want something set up like this.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. So, appreciate you guys listening. If you want to check out what else we have going on as far as training classes go, you go to my website, greenlinetactical.com. You go to John Jew's website, contingencytactical.com, or Duffy John Dufresne's website, kineticconsulting.com. And I guess we'll see you on the range, hopefully.
Is it kineticconsulting.com?
No, it's .net.
It's .net. kineticconsulting.net.
Net.
That's all good. They'll
That'll be
find it.
different.
They'll
That'll
find
be
it. If they go to kineticconsulting.com,
Yeah, they
they'll be
start
like,
Googling that shit.
it'll get rerouted.
It's the second thing that pops up.
Usually.